Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Breakfast Club. I'm Kazoom, and the subject this week has to do with more personal things. And got that funk had several. Got that funk had several questions. I was hoping that people could answer at least somewhat thoroughly a couple of them. And so, the first one was what is the nicest thing anyone has said to you? Um, well, you know, context is kind of a big thing on this. There have been many points where I have been very, very down, very, very, very depressed in my life. It's something that I struggle with on and off, but this was probably the worst bout of it I'd ever had. And I was talking about it, and Brad James made this comment, and I printed it out, and I have this on the wall, so I can always look at it when I have a lot of self doubt. He said to me, "Your greatest quality is the source of your greatest personal battle. The reason why I watch your videos daily is because you have the ability to experience life without ego and tackle very difficult subjects, and you do this every day. You are willing to change your position when shown you are incorrect. You are willing to engage with people who don't get where you are coming from on many different levels. You emotionally experience so much more than most people, and I think you get overstimulated when you are facing walls that you see others have that you don't. You live a fearless life, not to say that you aren't without fear, but you live a fearless life in spite of your actual fears. Relax, you are making a positive difference. Your opinions not only help me, but many others trying to find their way in the dark through this crazy-ass time where nobody knows who the fuck they are anymore. But you know who you are, don't forget that." And it affected me a lot. Um, it That comment got me out of that depression very quickly. I hopefully would have eventually gotten out of it, but it would have taken a very long time. And that was a very good thing. I It amazes me the type of support one can get on this platform. It amazes me the opportunities that this platform gives us. Some people use them for that, some people don't. I mean, people get whatever they get out of it, but even for in some ways there are elements where I use this platform as a counseling session, almost a therapy session, you know. It's nice to know that all these different types of viewpoints of a situation, you know. Anyway, have you ever had an epiphany? Definitely. On August 13th, 2013 at 8:50 p.m. That is when I realized that when I thought that I was connecting more with, I don't know, the universe, or I was connecting more with something that you could label as a god, but isn't necessarily, the way that, like a biblical way of looking at a god. But that, the reason why whenever I would do something that I knew was right, that I had this connectedness feeling, was because I was connecting to myself, not to some outside, external, whatever. And that, not realizing that, was the main thing that kept me latching on to bits of religious indoctrination. Just hadn't been able to let go of it. And from that point on, I really started making a lot of life changes. I mean, there are obviously things that will always remain the same with people, but in the past 3 years, I've probably had more changes than 3.5 years, I should say, than I had in the previous 15 years. Just significant outlook changes. I was able to, I was able to progress as a person. It was an amazing thing. Let's see, what is your greatest vice? I would say my desire for approval. I still have that going on. I still have that happening. Yeah, I need to get to a point where I just don't give a shit. And I just haven't been able to do that. That would make my life a lot better. And when I say not give a shit, I mean, well, I mean, it's like the previous one that I haven't watched yet. It's the epiphany that someone else had. It was it's not my job to make you happy. And I haven't had that one yet. I'm learning it. I'm still learning it. And eventually, eventually I'll have a breakthrough, because there's the logical parts that are already there. I can see them, and I'm just waiting for the emotional side to catch up and go, oh. So there are just some things that are that way. Your logical side knows something. Your emotional side just takes a little longer, And now I gotta say, I'm sorry for not being very. I haven't communicated that much in this on this channel with many others on some of the other videos. Like I said earlier, I've been kind of hermiting myself a bit lately. There's a number of things that are happening here at the house. A lot of changes. After those changes, things are going to be really nice. We're going to be splitting the house into 3 different parts. And so I'll have one section, my brother will have another section, and my mother will have another section. So it'll be like 3 different, areas of dwelling, and there won't be there won't constantly be this feeling like someone is looking over my shoulder. It would, and this is for all of us. And my brother has had some particularly some of the things related to his schizophrenia has gotten worse, and this will probably be the last place that we're really able to help him get, because every apartment he's been at there's been some weird thing that comes up that becomes for him some sort of emergency, and he'll think that there's all these conspiracies against him, and if he tries to pull that here, well, when he's got fully his own place and all of that, and he still tries to make up some bullshit, well, we'll have to figure out something at that point. I'm hoping he doesn't end up going to a mental institution, but anyway, the next one. If you could end something worldwide, which would you choose? I would choose apathy. I'd love to end apathy worldwide. What's the worst thing I've done to someone else? I'm going to pass on that one. Because I don't want to think about it. Okay, have you ever killed any kind of animal? I killed a mouse when I was living at a slum apartments. Where there's cockroaches and mice everywhere, and giant rats. And I killed a mouse. Actually, I killed probably about 8 with, the traps. So, yeah. What's the most reckless thing I've ever done? Well, in my early 20s, and I was in Seattle, and there's this guy that's saying that he needs to have he needs to get gas in his car, and his car is just down this street. Oh, okay, sure. So, and he has this little bitty gas can thing, and so I'm driving. Okay, where is it? Oh, it's just a little further. And I've got some. I had long hair and scraggly excuse for a beard at the time, and and wore a kind of a hippie shirt, and so he just figured I was a weed smoker. So you go, oh yeah, let me. If you got 20, I can get you some really good stuff, and so. Oh, okay. And then before we get to the car, let's go over to here. And okay, hand some guy the money. They hand him something in a little bag, and it ends up that it was crack. So he proceeds to start smoking crack in the car, and I'm trying to tell him no, and he starts yelling at me and threatening me because I wanted to roll down the windows so I didn't get, secondhand crack going on. And somehow, because I maybe it was just my stupidity or my naivety or whatever, or a combination of things, and he got me to go to a cash machine. Oh yeah, well I'll really get you weed this time. How he got me to calm down after he freaked out on me before, I don't know. I guess I wanted to believe in the good of people. And so he does that same thing again. And I'm like, you need to get out of the car. And he's like, you need to take me to my car. And this is after we had gone so far from where we were originally supposed to go, and during that whole time, because my memory from it is messed, because I was on the influence of the crack or whatever the hell he was smoking in there. And I mean, we're like, 10 miles away, and he's still like trying to make it sound like his car is just over here now. So eventually I got on the freeway and went about 90, somewhere between 90 and 100 miles an hour, and was dodged in and out of cars, and said, okay, yeah, you're going to, when I pull over, you're going to get out of the car, and you're going to leave, or we're both going to die. And at that point, he looked legitimately worried. I pulled over and dropped him off at some restaurant called Randy's. It was a Denny's at one time, and yeah, that was the most reckless thing I'd ever done. And it guaranteed that I would never even, like, if someone, no matter how good someone said, oh, I'll try this crack, no thanks. No thanks. If it makes me that stupid, no thanks. And again, some of it could have been my naivety or whatever, but I did stupid things as a result of that. And so whatever. Thanks for watching.